My name is Marcella, and welcome to the Treehouse. Where do we start? Where do we start? Life has been very entertaining. Okay, I'm just waiting for God to be like, and sing. Great. This is great. This was great. But it hasn't been. It hasn't been. If you recently have been listening to my vlogs and following me on YouTube, I talked about how when I got back from California, promoting and enjoying Cali for my podcast, my mother ended up having a stroke as soon as I got back. Well, update, my mom was at home. You don't know your own strength until you're having to take care of your parents. Okay. I think this is going to be a normal vlog or podcast today because my strength, I'm searching and I'm trying to find it. I'm really trying to find myself in the midst of all of this. Okay. It's crazy when the person that poured into you, you're having to pour back into them. And I just want you to know, God help me. About 2 weeks since my uncle passed away, and I've been trying to honestly just deal with everything that he said to me before he passed. The day before my uncle passed, I was at the hospital visiting my mom, and my uncle was actually on another floor. They were both in the same hospital. And I was running from seeing my uncle in that state because if you've been following me, to the people that are still, subscribers that have been here, my uncle has been in almost every video since I started my YouTube. So I have to say, it's been hard shooting content. It's been hard shooting content. I've been pushing myself. My uncle helped me get into my first apartment, and I remember when I started my YouTube, um, I had took the my dining room area and I just like created this whole green screen, and I was like, I'm gonna start my YouTube. And every video since then, my uncle was in. No matter what I wanted to do, no matter what crazy joke I wanted to do, my uncle was in it. And the last conversation that I had with my uncle, I was expressing to my uncle, I was like, you being in the hospital, seeing mom in the hospital, I was like, Uncle Junior, I was like, this is hard. Like, seeing you guys like this is hard. And all my uncles now, which I can say, his transition, he said to me, Uncle, you'll be fine. He's like, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And when I was back in California, it was this mural that I had seen and I loved it. And the mural said, you're going to be, it's going to be fine, or you're going to be fine. And I'm just like taking pictures by, paying no attention, not knowing that in the midst of being there, God was actually prepping me for what I was going to have to come back home and deal with. And the transition from my uncle going earth side to spiritual, I haven't sat with how he basically still showed me God in the middle of his transition. I'm trying not to cry out. Because if you know my uncle, my uncle would not want me to be crying. My uncle was a jokester. My uncle was everything. And I didn't think that that would be my last conversation with him. Although I knew he was transitioning, he was still up. He was still laughing. He was still being himself. And so it's been hard for me to shoot any type of content. And even for me sitting down right now shooting this, I'm pushing myself. I'm pushing myself because I know that content is what we go through in everyday life. And sometimes being the strong friend, sometimes just being the strong person, or being embarrassed or trying to hide, we hide the real deal things that we're going through. And I feel that people need to see this. People need to feel the real emotions. People need to see how it is, because one day this may be you. Or you may be going through this right now and trying to figure out how to get through this. And I just want to say to you, as I even sit here and encourage myself and tell you, it's fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And that's all I can continue to tell myself every day, as grief drags me up and down the street, and it's that it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. A lot of times we think that the darkest moments that we're in have no sunlight, and those darkest moments can bring out the best in us. It can bring out the creativity in us if we learn how to manage and use our emotions. And so I really wanted this to be a really long podcast or vlog or whatever I'm going to post it as. But I just want to say to someone right now that it's going to be okay. One of my favorite scriptures that I've kind of been dwelling on, that's kind of been like hitting me, is, and we know all things work together, all things, not some, but all things. And within those, the midst of the all things work together, we never take out time and look at how the bad situations are also working for our good. And I said that also to say, I started to feel like, what was the point of me going to college? What was the point of me even going to college, spending those years? Because my dream, besides being like an influencer and a creative and a creative director and all those different things, like I really love the human body. I really wanted to be a physical therapist, and my mom has made the transition to where now she's at home, and I found myself going back on my bookshelf, pulling out those books of the dreams that I had of being a physical therapist, helping my mom, like walking her up and down the hallway. Like I found myself in those same practices, those same desires being used for this very situation. And a lot of times we don't know when what we desire and want is going to need to play a part within our life. I hope that made sense, because I feel like I was going all around in circles. But we never know when it's going to play a part. And I found myself dwelling on that scripture that, and we know all things. Everything that I learned within school 6 years ago is now helping me build myself up to use it to help my mother right now. And even with my content, we want to be influencers, but it's like, what's content? What is the content? And your life is the content. Whatever you're going through is your content. And I'm having to tell myself that you can't be ashamed of what you're going through. You can't be embarrassed. You can't feel like, no, don't tell the world this, when someone needs to hear it, because I need to hear it. And I know that, like I've said before, there's going to come a point in life where someone needs the encouragement to know, how do you pull through and take care of your mother? How do you pull through and get over grief or deal with grief? And you have to keep pushing. You have to allow your emotions to all come together. Shout out to Inside Out too. Allow your emotions to all come together and work together to get through the roller coaster. Don't suppress them. Don't try to hide them. Don't try to fake it. Go through it. Go through it and know that it is going to be fine. It's going to be okay. I watch Insecure and I love Insecure. Everyone knows Issa Rae is one of my favorites. Actually, one of the reasons I even started my YouTube channel. And there's a character on there. Her name is Tiffany. And every time there was something wrong, Tiffany would say, "It's fine. It's fine." And that's where I've been at. I've been at understanding that being a creator is a good thing. Like the TV shows that I watch are actually helping me understand it's fine. In every situation, if you go back and watch Insecure, every situation, Tiffany like was the calm one. She was like, "It's fine." And I'm telling you, and I'm also telling myself, it's fine. It's going to be okay. Just know that whatever situation you're in right now is working for your good. It is working for your good. It may not feel like it's working for your good, but it's actually working for your good. It's building you up. It's pushing you. And when I say that losing my uncle has been one of the hardest things that I'm dealing with, because I watched my uncle on his transition still let me know that God is still amazing. My uncle didn't cry about transitioning. He was more excited to transition And I think that's what I've been trying to deal with, is seeing someone be okay with death. Because we fear it. But my uncle's death has brought me closer to understanding myself. It's brought me closer to knowing that, like, I have to continue to push my gift. I can't stop. It's not in me to stop. And I have to keep going. Like, I have to keep going, and you have to keep going. You may not be going through a loss of anyone. It may be something else that you may be going through, but I'm saying this to you to keep going. If you got to cry, if you got to scream, if you have to be by yourself, if you have to keep being around people, if you have to keep asking for help, it's going to be okay. Don't shut nobody out. Don't be embarrassed. And I keep saying being embarrassed because I live in a very secretive family. I'm a preacher's kid. And growing up, it was don't tell nobody. Don't I'm telling you now, the shit is hard. The shit is mentally hard. And it's okay to know that it's hard. But in the midst of it being hard, you have to still keep pushing. You have to keep going, keep going. And that's what I just want to say, is that it's fine. It's going to be fine. And we gonna be, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, we gonna be all right. We're going to be all right. And it is fine. It's fine. And just keep telling yourself that through it all, it's fine. Because we know all things work together. Not some, but all things. So I hope this has blessed you. I hope you're encouraged. And thank you for listening to me talk. My name is Marcella, and welcome to the Treehouse.